I swear the universe keeps handing me lessons in restraint, and I keep failing the pop quiz. I was supposed to spend the morning logging pheromone responses in a lab full of sensors, not rewriting the rules of interspecies romance with one impulsive reach of my hand. She was standing right there, Kyrie of the Vulpine Dominion, taller than me, radiant in that smug warrior biologist way, explaining her people's neural pathways with a tale that twitched like a metronome for my curiosity. In my defense, the damn thing looked exactly like the biointerface cable we used to sync telemetry. Sleek, metallic sheen, subtle pulse of light along the spine. How was I supposed to know it was part of her anatomy and not the equipment? So, yes, I reached for it. Gently. Professionally. Maybe with a little too much scientific enthusiasm. The moment my fingers brushed the fur, the room froze. Even the translation AI stopped mid-sentence, which is impressive for software that once live-translated a 3-hour bureaucratic debate without pausing to breathe. Kyrie's eyes widened, pupils contracting into slits so sharp I could see my reflection trembling in them. Then came the gasp, half shock, half something else, and every alien in the chamber turned toward me like I'd just declared war using interpretive dance. "Human," she said, voice low, lad with that rolling growl her species uses instead of emphasis. "You have touched the sacred appendage." I blinked, still holding my datapad like a shield. It was wagging at me. I thought it was an instrument. "It is," she said, stepping closer, "of courtship." Somewhere behind me, my assistant drone Pip muttered through the comms, "Congratulations, Doctor. You may now kiss the research budget goodbye." The silence after that stretched longer than my career prospects. Kyrie tilted her head, tail curling around her leg like a question mark. "Among my kind," she continued, "to touch the tail uninvited is to propose permanent union. Do you intend to bind yourself to me, human? There are moments when words can save you, and there are moments when every word becomes kindling." I tried humor, because that's what humans do when they are drowning. "Well, I'm flattered, but I didn't even buy dinner first." Her ears twitched. "You refuse me?" "No. I mean, yes? I mean, this is all a misunderstanding." Too late. She extended her claws, not in threat but in ritual. The nearest vulpine biologist gasped and started recording on a holopad. The AI translator chirped, "Cultural milestone detected. First confirmed cross-species proposal." And just like that, my accidental love life went intergalactic. Kyrie's fur bristled in color waves, a display their species uses for emotional broadcasting. My research had never captured it up close. Amber meant determination, crimson streaks meant, according to the manual, dominant claiming instinct. Fantastic. I'd just activated the emotional equivalent of a wedding march and a boxing match at the same time. She stepped closer until I could smell ozone and cinnamon, the scent markers of her kind. "If the bond is formed, it cannot be revoked," she said. "Your heart will echo mine. Your fear, my hunger. Your weakness, my protection." "That's poetic," I managed, "but maybe we could start with a handshake." Her translator blinked. "He requests manual contact to confirm bond." Before I could stop it, she seized my hand. A jolt shot through my nervous system, like static electricity laced with caffeine and regret. My HUD flashed red warnings, unknown biolink detected. Pip started screaming data I didn't understand. My pulse synchronized with something that wasn't entirely mine. She smiled, a dangerous, fang-tipped curve of satisfaction. "It is done." Somewhere in orbit, my supervisor probably felt a disturbance in the paperwork. The next few minutes were a blur of people shouting, instruments beeping, and me desperately trying to explain human anatomy doesn't include tails of any kind. The phrase "it was an honest mistake" apparently translates to "I accept eternal servitude" in her dialect. Kyrie followed me everywhere after that, announcing to anyone within earshot that I was now her chosen partner of resonance. I tried hiding in the cafeteria. She found me. I tried disabling my tracker. She activated hers. Pip unhelpfully broadcasted updates, Emotional signal between subjects increasing by 0.4% per heartbeat. By lunch, everyone on the station knew. The engineers called me Tailtouch Tom. Even the vending machines chirped congratulations when I ordered coffee. One message from command read simply, "Please refrain from further diplomacy." Kairi didn't seem to notice the chaos she'd caused. She sat across from me, eating something that hissed when she bit it, eyes never leaving mine. "Your people touch without thought," she said between bites. "It is reckless. I find it admirable." "Thanks," I said, "we call it curiosity. It's our species' survival mechanism." "It is also your doom." She said it like a compliment, and somehow that made it worse. The bond wasn't just ceremonial, I could feel her emotions trickling into my own like stray frequencies in a radio signal. When she laughed, warmth pulsed in my chest. When I panicked, her fur spiked reflexively. We were two biological systems trying to share one emotional Wi-Fi, and neither of us had the password. That night, or what passed for night on an orbital lab, I sat staring at the ceiling, replaying the moment over and over. One careless motion, one tail mistaken for tech, and suddenly I was half of an interspecies power couple trending across 12 sectors. Pip hovered beside me, light dimmed to sympathy mode. Statistically speaking, it said, you could still annul the bond if she agrees. And if she doesn't? Then you'll need to pretend you meant it. I groaned. Do I look like someone who can fake confidence in front of a 7-foot fox woman who could bench press a shuttle? On the bright side, Pip added, you've advanced xenobiology by decades. Accidentally. Great. My career would survive, if my dignity didn't. The next morning Kairi appeared outside my quarters, tail flicking rhythmically. You did not sleep, she said. I felt your unrest. I'm fine, I lied. She tilted her head. Your heart disagrees. I can hear it. Yeah, about that, I said. Can we maybe unlink? Her ears flattened. You wish to sever the bond? No. I just need personal space. Humans need boundaries. She pondered this. Boundaries are defensive barriers. Exactly. Her tail coiled slowly around my wrist, warm and soft but firm as a promise. Then I will guard yours. I stared at her, completely outmatched by alien logic. Somewhere deep down, under the mortification, a laugh bubbled up. Maybe the universe wasn't mocking me. Maybe it was testing how far one human could stretch the definition of diplomacy. If humanity was ever known for anything, it would be our ability to turn accidents into alliances, and, occasionally, lifelong commitments we never planned to make. I thought maybe if I ignored it long enough, the bond would fade, like an awkward text conversation that never gets answered. Unfortunately, biology doesn't care about wishful thinking. By the second day, I couldn't finish a thought without feeling something that wasn't mine. A sudden flicker of hunger that wasn't for food. A flash of irritation when I looked at the mirror. A wave of smug satisfaction every time I tripped over my own boots. Kairi was apparently using our neural link as an emotional broadcast network, and I was the unwilling antenna. She appeared in the lab again, tail moving with slow confidence. You have not eaten, she said. Because every time I try, I taste whatever you're eating, I replied. Which I think is alive. It's traditional, she said, sitting beside me. We consume prey that still challenges us. It keeps the spirit sharp. Humans use coffee for that. Her ears perked. This coffee, does it struggle? Only internally. Pip, my ever-helpful drone, hovered between us. Doctor, your biometrics suggest synchronized digestion. Congratulations, you're now sharing gut bacteria. Kairi purred proudly. Our bond deepens. I groaned. That's not romantic, that's contagious. Word of our partnership had spread faster than radiation in a bad reactor. Everywhere I went, people stared like I was walking around with a caution, intergalactic relationship hazard sign. The maintenance crew started betting on how long I'd survive cohabitation with a predatory empath. One of them asked if I could get her autograph. Another asked for mating advice. I stopped going to lunch. Then the station commander summoned me. That's never a good sign, it usually means paperwork or exile. His expression suggested both. Doctor, he said, we've received a request from the Vulpine Embassy. Apparently, you're to be recognized under their bonding code. Recognized? I asked. It's a legal union. They've already sent a ceremonial plaque. It hums. I'm not married, I'm mind-linked. He nodded gravely. Yes, well, interstellar law is still deciding the difference. Back in my quarters, I vented to Pip. You know what this means? I'm now technically a cultural ambassador because I couldn't keep my hands to myself. Pip projected a heart icon. That's how half of human diplomacy starts. Kairi appeared at the door again. She never knocked. You are angry, she said softly. I sighed. I'm frustrated. Her tail curled thoughtfully. Frustration is a form of passion. Not the kind you're thinking of. Her ears tilted. You think of me often. I opened my mouth to deny it, but the neural link betrayed me. A surge of embarrassment pulsed across the connection. Her eyes gleamed like molten amber. Your body confirms your words are false. Pip whispered, I recommend lying with less conviction. Kairi stepped closer, curiosity overtaking menace. Human emotion is vivid. When you laugh, it burns. When you fear, it tastes like lightning. Your kind must be exhausting. Now you know why we invented naps. She tilted her head. Perhaps I should experience one. You don't nap. Predators rest, but never sleep beside potential prey. I chuckled. Good news, I'm more accident-prone than edible. That earned a soft growl that might have been amusement. For a moment, we stood there, scientist and alien, sharing silence that hummed with something halfway between tension and mutual confusion. Then Pip ruined it. Emotional resonance rising. Suggest conducting controlled calibration before someone falls in love by accident. Kairi brightened. Calibration? A ritual? I froze. No, it's a diagnostic. She ignored me, already extending her tail like a ceremonial ribbon. Explain the process. It's technical. Demonstrate. Pip, traitor that it is, displayed a holodiagram of neural synchronization. Kairi studied it, then smiled like a student who just discovered an easier path to an A, so we must align our heart rhythms. That's optional. She placed her hand over my chest. My pulse spiked, hers followed instantly, two metronomes trying to outrace each other. Fascinating, she whispered. I can feel your hesitation. Good, because it's doing laps. The bond hummed louder. My vision flickered with after-images, her memories, brief flashes of starlit deserts and hunting calls echoing across alien dunes. Then silence. I staggered back, dizzy. Kairi's tail lowered slowly. Our connection strengthens with shared emotion. Perhaps your scientists were wrong about distance-reducing resonance. I clutched the wall. Great. Now I'm a walking Wi-Fi hotspot for feelings. She looked genuinely pleased. I will protect this hotspot. Please don't call me that. For the next few days, we tried every method to suppress the link. Meditation, electromagnetic shielding, even a soundproof room. Nothing worked. Every time she sneezed, my spine tingled. Every time I worried, her tail puffed up like a threatened cat. The station doctor said our neural patterns had begun harmonic mirroring. I said we were developing couples telepathy. He told me to fill out Form 73Q, Involuntary Courting of Sapience. The paperwork was longer than most marriages. One evening, after 12 hours of tests and zero progress, Kairi sat cross-legged on the floor, tail coiled around her like a question mark. You try too hard to control what cannot be controlled, she said. I'm trying to keep both of us from becoming a case study in cosmic awkwardness. Awkwardness is part of growth, she said. You humans fear what binds you. My people honor it. Yeah, well, your people never had social media. She blinked. This is your communication web? The one where strangers shout into the void. Exactly. And now they're shouting about me. She smiled faintly. Then they acknowledge your importance. That's one word for it. A moment passed, quiet except for the hum of the ship and the faint overlap of our breathing, out of sync, then in sync again. For the first time since the incident, the silence didn't feel hostile. Maybe, I admitted, there's something to this bond. I just wish it came with an instruction manual. Kairi's tail brushed lightly against my arm, deliberate this time. Perhaps we write one together. I hesitated. For science. For understanding, she said, and there was that hint of a smile again, sharp, knowing, halfway between threat and affection. Pip buzzed softly, recording data. Emotional resonance stabilized at mutual tolerance, it announced. I looked at Kairi, still not sure whether she was my doom or my dissertation topic. Mutual tolerance, I echoed. That's basically love in my species. Her tail flicked once, amused. Then you are improving. By the time the first week ended, my inbox looked like a museum of public humiliation. The station bulletin board ran an article titled Human Bonds Beyond Reason, accompanied by a photo of me mid-panic, holding Kairi's tail like it was about to explode. Someone had edited heart emojis over it. My department head sent a single-line message, next time, use gloves. Kairi, on the other hand, treated the chaos as evidence of destiny. Your people celebrate us, she said, scrolling through the comments section. They are not celebrating, I said. They are memeing. Is that not a form of worship? Only if you count sarcasm as prayer. She looked genuinely thoughtful. I will accept their offerings of sarcasm. Pip floated beside her, projecting analytics. You're trending under the tag tailmate. Engagement is 86% positive, 14% concerned. Concerned about what? I asked. Pip paused. Most respondents believe you've been domesticated. Kairi purred. A fair assumption. I pointed a finger. We don't domesticate people. She blinked. Then you are wild. I like that better. The laughter that followed wasn't forced this time. Somewhere between disaster and adaptation, the absurdity had turned strangely comfortable. She teased me constantly about human fragility. I countered with jokes about alien overconfidence. When the empathic link surged, we learned to use it like a shared private chat, emotions translated into color, tone, and mischief. Still, Bureaucracy wasn't amused. I got called to testify before the Intercultural Ethics Board, a collection of beings who looked like the worst parts of a biology textbook. The chairperson, something gelatinous with too many eyes, spoke through a translator sphere. Dr. Lorne, please explain how you initiated an unapproved telepathic union with a member of the Vulpine Dominion. I didn't initiate anything, I said. I touched a tail. It was a professional accident. Kairi stood beside me, calm and regal. He reached for connection. My species honors such courage. That's not courage, I whispered. That's absent-mindedness. The gelatinous chair glistened disapprovingly. Regardless, the bond exists. Do you intend to dissolve it? I looked at Kairi. Through the link I could feel her pulse steady and strong, emotions woven with something that felt suspiciously like hope. I cleared my throat. Working on it, I said. Kairi's tail flicked against my leg, deliberate. He means no. The board erupted into multilingual murmurs. Pip whispered in my ear, you've just declared eternal union in 4 major dialects. When we left the chamber, I didn't know whether to laugh or hide. Kairi seemed pleased. Your words bind better than ritual, she said. You speak truth without meaning to. Yeah, humans are great at that, I muttered. It's how most of our marriages start. Over the following days, our connection deepened in ways neither of us expected. I'd be in the lab writing reports when a wave of warmth would hit me, her amusement, echoing like sunlight through my skull. Sometimes I'd feel a sudden pang of hunger and realize she was craving roasted something. The odd part? I started craving it too. The bond wasn't just emotional, it was training my biology to sync with hers. Pip ran simulations. At current trajectory, full neural harmonization in 24 days. And what happens then? I asked. Best case, you finish each other's sentences. Worst case, you finish each other's heartbeats. Kairi found this romantic. 2 lives, 1 rhythm, she said dreamily. I found it terrifying. 2 tax forms, 1 audit. The real crisis came during a diplomatic banquet meant to celebrate cultural unity. Representatives from 15 species gathered around an over-decorated table. The menu tried to please everyone: alien fungi next to steak, liquid nitrogen cocktails beside soup that glowed faintly radioactive. I was halfway through pretending to enjoy it when Kairi's tail brushed my knee. I flinched, sending a telepathic jolt straight into her mind. The result was instant. She purred, loudly. Every head turned. The silence stretched. Apologies, she said, eyes bright. My human expressed appreciation through the bond. I choked on my drink. That's not. I was startled. The insectoid ambassador clicked mandibles. In my culture, that's the same thing. The laughter that followed was thunderous. I wanted to vanish into a black hole. Kairi, however, basked in the attention like a queen. She leaned close and whispered, "You emit the most delightful embarrassment. It tastes like sunrise." "Stop tasting my emotions in public," I hissed. Too late. The diplomatic feeds were already broadcasting. By morning, I was a viral headline again: "Human aliens share emotional buffet." Oddly enough, the fiasco changed something. Other species started reaching out, curious about human bonding potential. Apparently, empathy was fashionable now. Kairi claimed we'd advanced diplomacy by centuries. I claimed we'd made romance an international incident. One night, as we reviewed data logs of our linked pulses, I finally asked the question that had been gnawing at me. Why did you accept the bond so easily? You could have refused, called it off. She looked at me with those amber eyes that never seemed to blink enough. Because you didn't flinch. Every other species fears contact with us. You touched without thinking. That is either madness or bravery. I wish to see which. And I still decide. The link pulsed between us, a steady beat like twin heart monitors syncing. It wasn't romantic, not exactly. It was raw, awkward, and completely alien. But there was something profoundly human about it, connection born from error, affection tangled with absurdity. Pip recorded the moment with a smug tone. Cross-species emotional equilibrium achieved. Recommendation: maintain current dosage of chaos. For once, I agreed. Over time, Kairi started picking up human quirks. She laughed at bad jokes, though she claimed it was to study humor's adaptive role in failure. She began using Earth idioms badly. One day she announced, "I am the cat's pajamas." I told her we'd have to unpack that later. In turn, I learned that her people's fiercest warriors wrote poetry about prey who outsmarted them. Strength wasn't domination, it was respect for persistence. No wonder she found humans fascinating. We were the galaxy's most persistent mistake. The next report I submitted to Command wasn't a plea for annulment. It was a co-authored study titled Accidental Empathic Pairing, an opportunity for emotional diplomacy. They didn't know whether to promote me or quarantine me, so they did both. At night, when the station lights dimmed and the hum of machinery softened, I sometimes caught myself reaching out through the link, not because I had to, but because it felt natural. A shared heartbeat, a flicker of thought, a quiet question across the distance: "Are you awake?" And her answer would come, soft and amused, always: "You dream too loud." Maybe it wasn't love. Maybe it was just curiosity stretched too far, two minds holding onto each other in a universe too big for either to fill alone. But I began to understand why HFY stories always end the same way, not with conquest, but with connection, our endless talent for turning disaster into partnership. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real reason she won't leave. Not because of biology, or law, or even pride, but because she's finally found a species foolish enough to mistake a tale for destiny, and stubborn enough to live with the consequences. The thing about being half-bonded to a Beastwoman is that privacy becomes more of a rumor than a right. By week 3, Kaeri could sense my mood faster than Pip could analyze it. I couldn't even sigh without her tail twitching like an emotional barometer. When I muttered about needing space, she literally started measuring the room. "It is only 4 meters wide," she said. "You have space. You are simply bad at sharing it." Pip chimed in. "She's not wrong, Doctor." Et tu, drone. Our strange coexistence had become station folklore. The cafeteria served tail-touched toast. Someone painted our silhouettes on the breakroom wall, captioned "Science with Benefits." I stopped correcting them after the third news crew arrived. Kaeri didn't mind the attention. She said it was proof our bond inspired others. I said it was proof the galaxy was bored. She countered that boredom often leads to evolution. I told her that's exactly how we invented karaoke. Despite the chaos, something had shifted. The link that once felt invasive now carried comfort, a heartbeat echo reminding me I wasn't alone in my thoughts. It wasn't romantic in the fairytale sense. It was stranger, deeper, like sharing a Wi-Fi password for the soul. Then came the official notice from Central Command. Due to interspecies implications, both parties are requested to present their findings at the Galactic Concord Symposium. Translation: I told Pip, we're about to become the poster children for cross-species entanglement. Kaeri bared her teeth in what passed for a smile. Then we will show them strength through accident. The symposium was chaos in formal attire. Dozens of species filled a hall so big it had weather systems. Kaeri and I stood on the main platform under blinding lights. My palms sweated, her tail coiled protectively around my leg. The moderator, a sleek amphibian diplomat, gestured toward us. "Dr. Lorne, Kaeri of the Dominion, you represent a new chapter in empathic coexistence. Tell us, what is love between species?" I froze. I had rehearsed data, graphs, and biofeedback charts, not philosophy. Kaeri looked at me expectantly, clearly sensing my panic. Through the bond, her calm flowed into me like a slow breath. So I spoke. "Love," I began, "is curiosity with bad timing." Laughter rippled through the audience. "Encouraging," I continued. "It's the impulse that makes us reach out before reading the manual. It's why we keep making contact, even when contact hurts. Humans are clumsy. We bump into the universe and call it progress. Sometimes we bump into someone who bumps back, and suddenly we're rewriting biology." Kaeri's eyes softened. "He speaks truth," she said. "Among my people, bonds are sacred because they are rare. We chase what resists." He did not resist. "Because I didn't know better," I said. "Exactly," she replied, proud. The crowd loved it. Maybe sincerity sounds universal when it's soaked in embarrassment. When the applause faded, the moderator smiled. "It seems your connection has unified science and sentiment." I leaned toward Kaeri. "You realize we just turned a mistake into a moral." She flicked her tail. "That is what your species excels at." Afterward, we were swarmed by reporters. One asked if humans planned to expand such bonds commercially. Another asked if I'd consider reality holoshows. Kaeri answered for both of us, "He already lives one." Later, back on the station, quiet finally returned. The stars outside drifted like slow sparks. Kaeri sat beside me, her fur catching the dim glow of consoles. "You spoke well," she said. "I improvised." That is how most truths begin. Pip hovered nearby, replaying the speech in loops. Statistical analysis, 92% positive reception. You've increased interspecies empathy ratings by 18%. Does that come with a raise? No. But the cafeteria renamed a sandwich after you. Kaeri smirked. You are finally honored. I laughed. I'm a footnote with mayonnaise. Silence settled, easy and familiar. For once, the bond didn't hum with confusion, it pulsed like a steady melody. You still regret touching my tail? She asked quietly. I thought about it. The lost privacy, the memes, the endless forms labeled romantic accident. Then I thought about the unexpected comfort of shared thoughts, the way her laughter softened the ship's cold hum. Maybe I don't regret it, I said. Maybe it's the most human thing I've ever done. Her ears twitched. Because it was foolish. Because it was honest. She studied me for a long moment, then leaned close enough that her voice brushed my thoughts more than my ears. Then honesty is our bond. Pip, mercifully, powered down its audio feed. Weeks later, our paper, Accidental Empathic Pairing, a study in shared catastrophe, became required reading for xenobiology students. Half treated it as science, the other half as comedy. Kaeri called it educational mating literature. I corrected her. She ignored me. The bond never faded. If anything, it grew subtler, like background music I couldn't stop humming. Sometimes she'd be light years away on assignment, and I'd still sense her curiosity flaring across the void, followed by a teasing pulse that felt like laughter. Pip once asked, "Does it ever bother you that she can feel what you feel?" "Not anymore," I said. "It just keeps me honest." The drone word. And vulnerable. That's the same thing, in our language. Kaeri returned months later, medals glinting on her armor. She had apparently stopped 3 planetary conflicts by sharing emotional resonance. When I congratulated her, she smirked. Your method works. I simply touched their tails, metaphorically. Please specify metaphorically, I said. Mostly. And there it was again, that impossible mix of pride, amusement, and affection that made the whole universe feel slightly tilted. She'd become part of the human myth now, the wild alien who mistook curiosity for commitment, and the scientist who said yes by accident. Before leaving again, she left me with one last line through the bond, a thought like warm starlight: you reached for connection. I reached back. That is all forever means. I sat there, alone but not, thinking about how many of our greatest discoveries start with someone reaching where they shouldn't. If you ever visit the Dominion, read the etiquette manual carefully. But if you forget, and odds are, you will, remember this, sometimes the best things in the universe happen when curiosity outruns caution. Pip's final log entry summarized it perfectly. Conclusion: humanity remains a danger to stability, and a gift to connection. I couldn't have said it better myself. And yes, I still reach without thinking. Because if the price of touching the unknown is a lifetime of being wanted for it, maybe that's not such a bad deal after all.